Okay, so now 60 is taken care of, mortgage is taken care of. What's the next thing on the list? Now, let's say, for example, in this scenario, the next thing on the list is financially free at 55. Okay, cool. So we keep the surplus number allocated to superannuation and the mortgage, and then we do the same math. So we say, right, firstly, I've got to adjust the super number. So I've got to go in and I've got to change the numbers to say, well, firstly, if I need $2 million at 60, but I'm going to stop contributing at 55 because I want to be financially free by then. Now, to be fair, in a real strategy, we would continue, but just from a conservative point of view, you say, right, so if I'm going to stop contributing, so what number does my super need to be at 55 to then compound on top of itself to hit 2 million by then? So the way you do that is you put in the time frame 5 years, you put 8% in the return or whatever return is accommodating your risk profile. Then you put in there $2 million as the future value. Put 0 in the payments, and then you click present value. And that'll tell you the number you now need to aim at for it to get to by the time you're 55. Now, given there's 5 years less of contributions, the amount you have to contribute here is going to be more. So then you take that present value number, and you put that in the future value. And again, let's say you're me and you're 34. That means now you've got 21 years. So you put 21 years in the time frame, put 8% into the growth number, the return, make sure it's compounding annually. Then you put in there you put in the future value, the number from that present value, and then in the present value you put the number, whatever your super is now. Press the payments, and that'll now tell you the updated number you need to allocate towards super to make that happen. Okay, cool, great. Then with your spare surplus, so then you say, let's say in this assumption, let's assume you have 0 assets like shares, whatever. You then put 0 in the present value. You could do the other way. So you say, right, you need that external to super portfolio to take care of you from 55 to 60. So it's 5 years. So if you want to be really conservative, you could just save 500 grand in cash if we're still sticking with that 100 grand a year number. Firstly, we go in the payments, positive 100 grand. Future value, 0. So we run out of that portfolio when superannuation kicks in. We say 5%. And then we say 5 years for the time frame. Now that's probably going to mean you need something like 450 invested, something like that. We go present value 0, future value 500,000, return 8%, time frame 21 years. Press payment. That'll now tell you what you need to invest every year between now and when you're 55, if you're my age, or you change that 21 number to whatever the difference is, and that'll tell you. And then that allows you to carve out the amount that you need to invest. Now, if you're not into investing, you're scared, just do market. Do something like a beta shares, Vanguard, just do an index fund. Google what a passive ETF is and just invest in that.